Well, we're going to visit today with Coach John Simon, who's the running backs coach for the Golden Eagles, and obviously new to Southern Miss. Talk a little bit about your background, Coach, where you came from and how you wound up here at Southern Miss.
I guess it started back when I was in college. I played at Louisiana Tech. Coach Munkin was my position coach as a running back my junior year. He moved over to receivers. I moved with him at the receiver position. Went on to play in the NFL for 3 or 4 years, somewhere around that, and retired and was always considering the opportunity to coach. So I began flirting with the idea, high school ball in '07, starting a family. Wanted to buy a little time before I pursued the college range. So now that my kids are 6 and 7, and I've been networking the whole time, I figured the time was right, and right opportunity came along. Coach Munkin being placed back in the South, just kind of gelled together, worked out well for me.
I think you coached, the bulk of your high school coaching career was done around the Dallas area, right? Talk about coaching in high school, what you liked about that, and what transitions, if there were any, coming from the high school ranks to getting into college.
I don't know really. I did coach in high school at Dallas. I think the difference for me is that I'm not a strength guy. My idea of a high school coach is a strength guy. Got to stay on top of the kids, got to scream, got to fuss, and got to be intense with the kids. And I'm not that type of guy. I want guys that desire to be great. I don't want to have the big guys to come to practice and show up and do the film and do the little things. So I like guys that have goals set for themselves in athletics. Most of your college kids do. And they have that desire to be great. So they just looking for someone that can just show them how and teach them how and encourage them. So that's kind of my philosophy, my style as a coach, and I think it's better suited for the college realm. I enjoyed the high school because I love kids. It's my passion, it's my ministry, but I think I'm better suited for this level.
You worked under Coach Munkin a couple of times as a player and as a coach over at Louisiana Tech. Talk about what he sort of maybe has taught you about the game of football.
Coach Munkin is a detailed guy. And that's what I've always enjoyed about him. And to be honest, they had been trying to get me to play receiver ever since I stepped on campus, but I refused. And he suggested it, and they were like, he'll never go for it. And he asked me one time, I was like, if you coaching it, no problem. And that's just the respect that I had for him as a player. His detail, his knowledge of the game and the position, just little things. Character stuff, and just savvy. He's just savvy about the things that he do, and he's the same way as a coach, and which me coaching with him and for him is the exact same way he was then. He hasn't changed a little bit. Great personality. Loves to have fun, but he has a motto of business before pleasure, and I share that same thing. I'm a fun guy, but we got to take care of business first, and after the business is taken care of, have fun, and he's that way.
You grew up in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Did you know much about Southern Miss before you got here?
I did not know much about Southern Miss, other than I have a friend played running back here, Dwayne Woods. So he's actually was in Dallas, and we've connected prior to me coming here. Just so happened that it kind of worked out that way. But I didn't, and I was kind of surprised to find out how close it is to that southern Louisiana area, because actually this is closer than Louisiana Tech. But I don't know if Southern Miss wasn't recruiting that area, but I had never really had that much experience with Southern Miss prior to coming here.
Talk about the running backs. Talk about the guys that you inherited here at Southern Miss, and what you're trying to teach them and how spring practice went.
I inherited a great group of guys, and my experience with coaches kind of prepared me for this group. It's not that difficult, being honest, with this group. You have a wide variety of talent. You have a big guy in Hardy, that can pound the ball, that's physical, that loves to run in between the tackles and has the speed to get outside. You have a shifty guy with Tyree Brackens, that can run your routes, and he can go inside the tackles, but he has the speed and the quickness to make anybody miss one-on-one. You have a real smart guy with Jalen Richard, that has a skill set that he can do anything that's asked of him, and he's smart enough to get it and to detail it and to add a little seasoning of his own to it. And then you have Hester, which is the senior captain of that group of my tailbacks, and he's kind of like my Iron Man. He can do all of those things well, and he's a talented kid and a talented guy. And for me, I have 4 starters. The problem with those guys would be frustrating about I'm not getting enough touches, I'm not getting enough carries. But you have so many guys that can do well. I feel that I might as well keep a fresh guy out there. So it's exciting. It's exciting for those guys. I'm excited to be here with those guys, and just all I pretty much do is blow the whistle and tell them to go be great and clap when they come back to the sideline.
In the spring, where did the emphasis go as far as the running backs were concerned, and how did you feel like those guys sort of grasped what Coach Monken's offensive system?
The system is pretty simple, actually, for the running backs. So after 1 or 2 days, they pretty much got the system. So what I had to do was find ways to challenge them, to push them to be great. Details, just more and more details of the routes. We don't have that many routes, but okay, I use words like rigor. Let's go deeper. Let's go deeper into this route. How can you set it up? What else can you do? What else? Show me a different way to run it. Show me another way to run it. Okay, we're running that route. We're not going to run it at the same time. You can only run it one time, one way, and then you have to do it a different way every time. So we just studied a lot of film, watched some old film, pull out some old Louisiana Tech film, all kinds of film, and just getting those guys just to focus on detailing of the game and show them that they all have the ability to play on Sunday and what it takes. So when you start talking about playing on Sunday, you pique interest, and you capture their attention. So I use things like that just to motivate them to be who they are, a great group of guys.
How does the running back fit into Coach Monken's offensive system, or what are they expected to do, or how are they a part of what he wants to do offensively?
They're a big part of what they want, what the offense is centered around. Obviously, we throw the ball a lot, but we throw it to the running back a lot as well. The running back has to protect. The running back doesn't get as many carries, so it seems, but the average is high on their touches. So they have the ability to pop big plays. And I just want them to be prepared, and when they have that opportunity, to understand you don't get many opportunities to go 50. So you have to be on top of your game. You have to be ready. So when it comes around, you got to make it work. So we're not going to pound it 40 times a game. That's not what we want to do, but we're going to run it 25 to 30 times, but we expect to have a high 5.5 to 7 average out of the backs.
You mentioned that the 4 guys that you've got coming back, and all those guys have played a pretty good amount of football at Southern Miss. Mm-hmm. The coach has a tough job. You're right. You've got to figure out who to play and when to play. How do you solve that dilemma?
Yeah, I mean, I'm the bad guy, regardless of how I play it or how you see it. It's 4 starters. Only one guy can start. Everybody can play, but only one guy can actually be the starter. Every kid out there has had valuable touches in the Southern Miss. Every kid out there as a running back has, when the game's on the line at some point in their career, they've been the go-to guy. So right now you're talking about 4 guys that have been the guy, and when the game's on the line, they want to be the guy. But they're great character kids. We consider ourselves a family. And words we use is family, running back family, family, family. So we support each other, and we understand what each other's strengths and weaknesses are, and depending on what the situation is, that's what's going to be out there.
Football now is college football is a year-round thing. Used to be they'd leave for the summer and come back. They're here all summer, and I know they'll be working hard to get ready. When practice begins again, though, in early August, where, from the running back standpoint, does the attention go as you guys start to get ready for the season?
It's always protecting the ball, protect the quarterback. So, and then protect yourself is what I tell them. But we got to be able to protect the ball first and foremost. We got to be able to protect the quarterback, or we can't play. And then we got to protect ourselves and be able to, perform. So that's what the emphasis is going to be on. Again, the system, our kids have the system. The running backs understand what Monken wants, and now it's our job to go into detailing those things and detailing it. How detailed can we be, and how great can we be at the little things?
You played, as you said earlier, at Louisiana Tech, and a lot of success over the years at Louisiana Tech. What experiences that you had in college football can you sort of share with the guys that play for you now?
Have a plan, set goals, and the same thing that allow you to be successful in football is the same thing that's going to allow you to be successful in life. Same thing when I talk about business before pleasure, academics before athletics. If you finish your career and you don't graduate, you failed yourself. I talk to them about those things. Studying film, knowing your strengths and weaknesses, and then knowing the opponent's strengths and weaknesses better than what they know their own strengths and weaknesses. It gives you an opportunity. I was blessed to play with some great guys, a great group of guys that competed on a national level everywhere and on every stage, and had the opportunity to play professional football. So I share those experiences with those guys, and all of them are quite talented and have just as much talent as I do. So when I can sit there and say, hey, if I played on Sundays and you guys are just as talented as I am, what's stopping you? So you just have to be smarter than the best athlete, and you have to outwork the rest. So and that's what I tell those guys. If they can know the game the way that I know the game, and I'm teaching it to them, and what Monken is teaching to them, then there's nothing stopping you from being successful in this business or in life.
Playing the Southern Miss way or the Todd Monken way, and the X's and O's and all that stuff kind of works themselves out. Just play the way you're supposed to play at Southern Miss.
Right. And Southern Miss has a great tradition of, put your hard hat on and going to work and playing harder and being tougher than your opponents. And that's what this community is about. That's what the foundation of the Rock and the whole stadium and the Golden Eagle is all about. So just instilling that in those guys, along with smart coaches, smart offensive coordinators, smart O-line coach. You couldn't ask for a better staff, along with talented kids. So if you have a great staff and talented kids, and you can get the mindset in those kids that you play hard, extremely hard, you have a chance.
Something like 120 some days to the first football game. What are you looking forward to the most when the season finally gets here?
I'm just looking forward to my guys having the opportunity to go out there and be successful. I'm looking forward to Southern Miss being able to go out there and get that taste out of the mouth, of not having a good season. The hardest thing about football is that your last game, you always have that taste in your mouth until your next game. So with the last season not going so well, the guys are so excited about having that opportunity to prove that, that was just a bump in the road. That was just stirring of the nest for the Golden Eagle to just build a new home. And I said it says a lot, that with a bad season, what does Southern Miss do? You destroy the field. You get a whole new field. We don't even want to play on that field anymore. So I'm excited for those guys. I know the community, everybody's excited to get back on the winning track, and I think we will.